dear students, in this module we are continuing with the lesson The Ailing Planet, 5th lesson from Hornbill, the main course book. And The Ailing Planet, this is an article written by Nani Palkiwala. So we have seen that this article was published in the Indian Express in the year 1994, November 1994, which highlights the importance of the change in perception of human being. That is, the importance to see planet Earth as in a holistic view, in an ecological view, rather than considering human beings or treating the Earth by human beings as masters. We have to see that we are not masters. Same like the other million and million of species, we are also one of the species. Okay, we don't have a control over other, rather we have just a partnership. We are just not masters, we are just servants. It's our duty to preserve the earth. And this change in perception is essential in this particular time. It is high time to have this change, because otherwise it will affect the future generation. And as a result, the concept of sustainable development, which developed after the Green Movement, which suggests that change or development is need, but we have to focus that the future generation also, we have to preserve resources for future generation without hindering the rights of future generation over these resources. And also we have seen about Mr. Lester R. Brown, how he classified Earth's biological system into 4. He has classified into fisheries, forests, grasslands and croplands, and how the harmful effect or the selfish action of human being, how it has destructed all this 4 biological system, that is the protein hungry, protein conscious world due to overfishing, even during the banned trawl season, the breeding time of fishes, the illegal fishing, how it affected the fisheries. Then grasslands are converted to barren wastelands, and also the croplands are also impaired, converted to barren lands. And also we stopped with forest. Now we have seen that the forest has really decimated, reduced to a large extent. With the reason is urbanization, and also the need of more and more firewood. As a result, the tropical forest, which is considered as the powerhouse of evolution, we have too many number of species have extincted due to this deforestation. Now there we stopped. Now these are the pictures that highlight the effects of deforestation, how it changed. Now again an estimate or a statistical data is given. The World Bank, how it is presented here, that the James Peth, the president of World Resources Institute, he say, the statement of him is that we are saying that we are losing the forest at an acre a second, but it is more closer to an acre and a half. So we know that each and everything are statistically presented. Every documentation is there with all the resources within the country wise. Everything is categorized. Say for example, in India also, in the record we can see a large acres of, that is the rate of 3 means acres of lands. Millions and millions of acres of lands are supposed to be forest in record, but actually it is losing, officially designated as forest land. Now it's already virtually, means at present really already virtually treeless. Now we have seen that our Indian Constitution, Article 48A, it is highlighting the importance of safeguarding environment, or the protect and improve the environment, and to safeguard forest and wildlife of the country. Though a rule, an article itself is there in the constitution, still we can see that the violation is happening. No one is bothered about all these things because we know the reason why, because rules are not respected or followed in India. That is the main problem why the Indian means too many, though the constitution itself provides an article and violation against this is punishable, still it is continuing because rules are never respected or followed in India. So say like for example the already abolished the abolished system like the dowry system, the child labor, casteism, untouchability, all these are abolished from the constitution. It is not supposed to, we are not supposed to think or follow all these things. But till now in this 21st century, even it is prevailing in the educated and non-educated sectors. Okay, so that is what the reason why, because it means the people are not bothered about all these things, and as a result we can see a catastrophic depletion of forest area, that is a dangerous or a drastic reduction of something. So here we are focusing on forest. That is what is meant by catastrophic depletion, a tremendous or a drastic reduction of something. As here we are talking about forest, it is. Now that is one area. Now another area, another cause. So we have seen about the things, the effect, how we are, the negative effect on the four biological system. Now another reason for this ailing or the earth being a patient is overpopulation. The reason for environmental pollution also is overpopulation, how the cities are crowded, and as a result how it is affecting the ecological balance. Now we are going to see the next reason, that is population, the menace of overpopulation, how it is, which is considered as the strongest factor changing the future of human society. Now we can see that every 4 days world population increases by 1 million. Now we can see that the recent controversies or the talks or the debates which is going through the channel is related to this abortion, the increase in population, why the Christian the religion is encouraging the number of children in a family. So recently in this week we can see too many discussions or arguments or debates that are going on in the channels. Now to a certain extent we can see that if we are tracing the history, okay, so from the primitive times, that is the world population, it is considered as the strongest factor which distort the future of human society. So if we are tracing the history, then if we are going back to million years back, it took mankind more than 1 million years to reach the first billion. If you are going back to the ancient records, it took more than 500,000 years to reach the population. It is a gradual process. So once the numbers are increasing, the procedure is going on. Now the present estimate, this record or statistical record given in the textbook, it is something related to, which is published in 1994. So based on the 20th century statistical data, now it has already changed and become completely changed. Now it is mentioning that every 4 days world population is increasing by 1 million. Now the reason why this population is increasing day by day, now it is analyzed that the population is increasing in poor sector rather than the rich sector. Why? Because the poor people think that more hands, more work, more money. So the poor sector, majority of the people are uneducated. Now the child labor, that is also prevalent or very common in poor sector, because they are only thinking about their daily bread. So for that, according to them, they think that if there are more hands, They can work more work, they will get as a result more money. So that is the reason, and as a result what happened? The rich is getting richer and the poor remains the poor. They are remaining in poverty. Now we can see that fertility, as fertility falls, income rises, and as education spreads and health improves. So it is considered that development is the best contraceptive. That means as income rise, education spreads and improves, health improves. So development itself is considered as a best contraceptive. Now another thing, obviously the family planning, the family has to decide. Now if the population is going on, people are forced to cut down trees to make and to flourish, to make a house and all these things happens. But there is a point, it is something natural, the population increase and all, it is something. Now we can see that recently I have seen a small video which states that the present pandemic situation in which thousands and thousands of lives are lost, it is to make the balance proper. So we can see the Great Plague which happened in Europe, okay, in the 19th-20th century and all. It means resulted in the loss of thousands and millions of lives. So we can see certain natural calamities like tsunami, which is wiping out many of the human life. All this is a natural, we can, in a way we can take it as a natural process to balance the ecological system. So it can be taken such as, so everything is connected one to another. So here the article, the narrator in the article, the narrator is focusing on the overpopulation, which is a reason, explained as a reason which affect the ecological system and how it affect the ecology. Now anyway, now what we have to, as human beings, for the first time in human history, we are seeing a transcendental change, a transcending change, that is, we are not bothered about the surviving of human beings, but about the earth, about concerned about the existence, the planet, and the environment problem does not necessarily sign our demise. It is not something that indicate our demise. It is our passport for future. So it is a warning alarm given to us, that is to keep or preserve things for future. It is an awareness given to us. It is not something which is showing our death certificate. It is something that shows a passport to future. So we have to think, our attitude, our perception has to change. So a transcending concern, that is survival is not just for people but of the planet. We have to, instead of seeing dislocating things or dissociating things into part, we have to consider the whole thing, the planet itself as a holistic one. That is, each and every species is related to one another, and it is our duty to preserve everything for the bright future. Now in that, we are considering the world is giving, looking a vision, that is seeing it as an era or responsibility, era of responsibility, because we human beings are responsible to balance everything, to maintain the balance, the sustainable development, to make the earth remain greener every time, everywhere, this greenery if you have to. Now the chief role has to be played by industry. Now what has the industry do? It has to become eco-friendly. We can't say that all the industries or factories should be shut down, but whatever we are doing, it has to be in an eco-friendly manner. Now, a transformation would be effected if each and every businessman so shared the same attitude of the chairman of DuPont. So the statement made by the chairman of DuPont, that is Mr. Edgar S. Woodard, he said that, that is, he declared himself to be the company's chief environmental officer, as if a new post, which is something strange for us. We have heard about CEO, chief executive officer, But here he is appointing himself as Chief Environmental Officer, and he is telling that our continued existence as a leading manufacturer requires that we excel in environmental performance. That means whatever we produce, we have to safeguard the ecological balance also. The environment also should be preserved. So whatever resources we are taking from earth, we have to replace that back, because it has to be continued. Once we are consuming everything, it should not stop there. If you have to say, for example, that is if we are thinking about the bank balance. Okay, we have, say for example, a person who won a lottery and become rich on within a blink of the eyes, and another person who became rich because of the hard work he had done. The business, maybe out of business or whatever, in a professional field, out of hard work, he earned a money. So what happens? Whose will sustain? Who will remain last? Obviously, the person who work hard and earn money. Why? Because the other person is not, suddenly is getting something and is not thinking about that. The first thing is he will be spending everything for this and that. And within 1 or 2 months or within a year, what happens? He will remain bankrupt because he is not. But in a place, in another way, if he is bothered about the future and he is saving all that money then for the future, he can use it in a wealthy, in a rich or wise manner. So that is the difference. People also should think that we have to preserve it for the future generation. We have to safeguard all the resources. Whatever we utilize, we have to replace it over there. Now, another thing is that is the leadership of Edgar S. Bullard, which he says he is assuming himself as the Chief Environmental Officer. Now, the thing that is the importance of reuse, reduce and recycle. Now, all these things are too much, giving more and more prominence now in the children, also in the education sector also. Children are taught to reuse, reduce, reuse and recycle things. That is the competitions like best out of waste. We are training students also the importance to reduce, reuse and recycle things to make the planet always remain greener. Now towards the end we are seeing 2 quotes, one by Margaret Thatcher. So she is telling the Margaret Thatcher, the Prime Minister of in English, Britain. She is telling that her words are, no generation has a freehold on this earth. All we have is a life tenancy with full repairing lease. So she is telling that we have, okay, during her prime ministership, in a speech she made this words, and that is, no generation has a freehold on this earth. We does not have a hold or a mastership over this earth. What we just have is a life tenancy with full repairing lease. Say for example, those who have the experience in staying in a rented room, you have to pay a security. Okay, before getting the room, you have to pay security. Security cash you have to give, and whatever till we stay in that particular apartment or house, it is our duty to safeguard all, maintain all the thing in the same way. Otherwise what will happen? We will lose money from that security amount. Okay, and as it is the case, we will be very much bothered about it. Whatever harm we have, before we will try to rectify all those things. So people also should have this attitude. We just have a doesn't have a what we have is a life tenancy. We are just tenants and with full repairing lease. So we have to safeguard our property, otherwise we ourselves are going to suffer. Now in another word, now Mr. Lester Brown, we have seen about Lester Brown, who divided the biological system into 4. The second quote is from him, that is, we have not inherited this earth from our forefathers, we have borrowed it from our children. So the attitude of human being is like that. This is our means hereditary property. Earth is our property which we own. So we have to change that attitude. We have not inherited it from our forefathers. We have just borrowed it from the future, our children, from the children. So this brings in my mind another video which I have seen. So in there, means a particular category was divided into too many students. Children were separated from their parents and they were separated in two different rooms, and the parents were first asked to, means they have to draw something. So first the parents were taken to the room and they were asked to select all the colors they wished for the drawing. So as we are getting the first chance, the first thing for beautiful drawing, we will take colorful colors. And after that, the children were sent to that room and they are asked to make painting with the leftover colors. So as all the beautiful red, blue, green, everything was taken by the parents, what left was the silver, the black, the ash color, white color. So with that, the children were forced to make the painting. So after the given time was over, they were asked to show the paintings. The parents were showing beautiful, colorful painting, but with the children, they were only dark painting with the colors, with the shades, black, ash and all. What that shows? That is just an example for this. That is, we should think that we have borrowed it from the children. And once we borrow something, we have to return it in the same way. Otherwise, we have to pay for that. So that attitude should be there. That idea should be there within us. Then we will not destroy or we will do any harm to the earth. We will have the responsibility to preserve the nature. Now these two quotes by Margaret Thatcher and Lester Brown, this highlights the needs to preserve earth for the future generation. Both these quotes are indicating or stating the position of human beings, that is highlighting the thing which in the beginning it was mentioned, we are not dominators, we are not masters, we are just servants. Our duty is we are just partners, same like other species. We don't have any control over the resources. We have only just a partnership. Whatever we take, we have to return it. So the thing here we have to keep in mind is, it is not our private property. We have to safeguard it for the future generation. We have not inherited from the forefathers. We have just borrowed it from the future generation. So with that, it highlights how the importance to preserve the resources, as well as we have to use the resources in a very careful manner, that the generation after comes, okay, they also should enjoy a better world, a bright sea, and a less dense forest, cleaner water and clear sky. They should also enjoy, they should also get the chance to enjoy all this beauty of nature. So we should not spoil it. It is our duty to safeguard all these things for the future generation. Now we can see the marine animals, once they are caught, plastics are coming out from the intestines. So this is because of the careless attitude or action of human beings. Now this is what happened in this world. Now even after all this awareness, we know that this article has significance in this world at this point of time also. Now also we are, though the plastics are banned, now again for some time people were bothered about that, they started using paper bags, but still we know again this plastic bags are coming back. If we decide we will not use that, we can stop it. So it is our duty to be more careful and keep the things ready, or preserve the things for the future coming generation. So hope you got an idea about the lesson, the significance of the lesson even in this present scenario. Now from the textbook, understanding text, 4 questions are there that you have to answer in the notebook. Now the coming slides, the sample questions, you can go through that. Keep this in mind before reading the lesson. Read the lesson 2-3 times. So why is the Earth said to be an ailing planet? What is the significance of green movement in the modern world? What was the question raised by the first Brand Commission? What does it suggest? What is the significance of this question? So this Lester Brown, who raised this question, Mr. L.K. Jha. What is the question? Are we to leave our successors a scorched planet? That is what the question raised by the Brand Commission. One of the member who was an Indian, that is Mr. L.K. Jha. Now, how is human population explosion the biggest threat to the existence of the ailing planet, the population that we have seen? What are the four principal biological systems? How are they the foundation of the global economic system? So, why is the tropical forest called the powerhouse of evolution? Because majority of the species that is present in the tropical forest, that you can mention there. What does Mr. Edgar S. Woolard mean by assuming the post of his company's chief environment officer? The importance or the role of the industry to preserve the environment, to become eco-friendly. Now, what are our ethical obligations to the ailing planet? That is, how are we responsible? That is, thing that we are not inherited. That is the quotes of Margaret Thatcher and Lester Brown that you have to quote there. Explain over there. How do we explain the concept of sustainable development? Clearly explained. Margaret Thatcher says no generation has a freehold on this earth. All we have is life tenancy with full repairing lease. How is the statement significant today? So that also it shows how we have to preserve or use the resources so carefully so that the coming generation also can enjoy greenery. Okay, a bright sea, then a bright earth, a little dense forest, clear water, clean air. So all those things you can mention there. Now, long answer question, how has the growth of the world population affected the environment? Support your answer with a suitable argument. So, page number 46, the first part completely, it is about that. Then we have not inherited this earth from our forefathers, we have borrowed it from the children. So, with the textbook, so how the means the attitude of the human beings toward nature, with that you have to explain this in detail. Okay, so that is it. Hope you got a clear picture of the lesson. So otherwise I used to repeat. You can clear the doubts during the interactive session. So we will wind up the session here. Thank you.